Hi, I was muted there to begin, guys, but how is everybody doing so far? I want to see the chat. If everybody is good to go, just type one in the chat. If you guys can see the presentation, you guys can see me clearly, just to make sure we have technical okay. It's one of our first webinars, so we don't know if the technical is going to be absolutely amazing, but we hope it's going to be, okay? Okay, a lot of ones, a lot of ones. Everybody's ready. You guys excited? Good. Okay. Well, we're going to get right into it. So the first part that I want to begin in is just how much time we've put into this, guys. I don't think you guys understand. Like we've been like 6 months of straight grinding, days, nights, 4 a.m.s, 24-hour days sometimes to make sure we have the perfect training for you guys today. What we're going to be teaching you is the exact systems that I used to make my first $30,000 in commissions in my first month selling anything. And I've been preparing with Jeremy, Anthony, and the team to make sure this is perfect for you guys. So what you're going to learn today is going to completely change the way that you view and see selling. The thing is, I can teach you, and I can guarantee you that I'm going to teach you everything, but I can't guarantee that you guys are actually going to put the action necessary to get the results that you guys need to. So I want you guys to put committed in the chat. If you guys are committed to putting in the work, actually paying attention for the next 90 minutes where you're writing down notes and you come out of here and actually start implementing everything I'm going to teach you today. Type I'm committed in the chat if you guys are committed to doing so. I want to see the chat going crazy. All right, we got a lot of people committed. I love that. And it's only building up. Okay, amazing. So I want to start with my story. First of all, I want to talk to you guys about the past because every single one of you guys have your own story. And that's why you're here, because something drives you to get to where you want to be. And my story is what really drove me to get to the point in my life where I am now. So first of all, I want to tell you guys about my father because he was a millionaire. This guy had Porsches, Ferraris, houses, anything you would want and think of, he had it. And our family went down. We literally went from comfort, luxury lifestyle to like poverty, literally. Like at the age of 8 is when everything happened. At the age of 17, I was sleeping in the same bedroom as my brother. My 22-year-old brother, we were sleeping in the same bedroom. Now, at this time, I was working a 9 to 5. I was also working in a supermarket to try and make enough money for us to just live and get by. And there was a time where the house got broken into. And at this moment in time, we lost everything. And I'm not sure if you guys have ever had a moment like this, but I remember looking in the mirror at myself and just saying like, this cannot continue. I know I'm meant for greater. I know I'm meant for more. I'm sure you guys have had a moment like that in your life too. And then skip a year and a half ago, after I took the actions necessary to put myself in the positions that I needed to be in, I was able to retire my dad, give him the life he's always wanted. I've been able to buy my dream car, Porsche 911. I have 2 Porsches now. I've been able to become the #1 closer for Jeremy Miner for the last 15 months. I've also been able to collect over $7 million in cash collected, earned myself over $1 million in straight commissions, and even got given shares to the company at 21. There's 2 types of people today. There's the people who listen to the story, they get excited, and they don't do anything. Or there's the type of people who actually pay attention, take action, and do the things necessary to get to where they need to be. So Jeremy, as you know, has helped me so much in this journey and has been with me throughout the whole time. And he actually has a few words to say to you guys before we continue. So I'll let Jeremy take it off.
Hey, Jeremy Miner, founder, 7th Level. All right, I'm announcing here we have a licensing agreement with my boy JP Egan. Full endorsement. JP, I think he came here as a client maybe 2 years ago, somewhere in that range. I don't remember what he was selling, but we quickly recognized his talent and we hired him to be one of our full-time account representatives, helping people like you get into the training so you can sell more. And he's done exceptionally well. He's collected, I want to say 6 to 7 million, something like that, over the last 2 years. And remember, selling is not something you do to people. Selling is something you do for people, right? Because if you can't sell to people, you can't learn the skills to sell them. They don't buy your products or services. The problems don't get solved. They don't get where they want to be. So we wanted to make this public announcement. It's very rare I endorse anyone. There's been other people that sold here, that then left and started on sales training companies. I didn't endorse any of them because I didn't believe they had the experience or the wisdom to actually train the NEPQ methodology. I do that with JP. So he's one of the few licensees that we've allowed to do this. So some of the same frameworks, some of the same techniques you're going to learn in this webinar are the same ones that I personally have trained Fortune 100 companies like Google AdWords, ExxonMobil, Comcast, United Healthcare, NBC News, we train like the golf channel over there, all the way down to mid-level to SMB, all the way down to individual salespeople like you in every industry all over the world. So you want to pay attention. Pay attention to what he's going to show you. The techniques work. They work with human behavior. I'm really excited to see where JP takes you. Get into the training. It's obvious it works at this point. We have a bit under, I think, 38,000 testimonials, maybe even more. I lose track in the last 4 years. That is more than any sales training company in the world. We're ranked as the largest B2C sales training company in the world, the third largest in the B2B space by annual revenues. And JP now is going to represent the brand as a licensee. Follow what he shows you. You're going to do well. You can get the results that you want to get for your family.
Okay, I don't think there's a lot I can add to that. A lot that Jeremy said there. But a lot of things I've learned from Jeremy throughout my time. One of the biggest things that I learned, because I remember he said this to me, and it was super important because it stuck with me for the last year and a half that I've been selling for him. And he told me that there's 4 types of salespeople. I'm not sure if you guys have ever heard this before. But the 4 types of salespeople, it goes exactly like this. Type number 1, there's the wingers, the people who wing everything. They hope and pray that things will work out. They have a new script, a new framework, every single sales conversation. And we know what typically happens to those people. We have the dabblers, the people who buy a few sales books, the people who go through a free event, go through every free YouTube video that there is to see, and they stay behind the learning curve. Why do they stay behind the learning curve though? Because they're watching everything. Why do they? And it's because it's simple. It's like you going to the gym. You have 2 options. You can go to the gym by yourself, by watching free YouTube videos and hoping everything works out. And you'll get those results in like 1-2 years. But if you go to the gym with a personal trainer who has the exact experience from getting someone from A to B, also themselves from A to B, and give you that experience and transfer everything to you, you're probably going to get there a lot quicker, right? And then there's the know-it-allers. The know-it-allers are the people who think they know everything. They've probably had a year where they've had 100, 200, maybe 300 grand a year, but they stop investing in their skills. They stop learning. I think we all know what happens to those people. Their income gets what? It gets capped. And then there's the 4 types of salespeople, which is the people who are committed to mastery. And I know a lot of you guys here are also committed to mastery. That's why you're here. But these are the people who invest funding inter-skill level all the time. And they don't just make the same mistakes as other reps because they have the experience from someone else who has already done it. So the biggest thing and the biggest thing that you'll see to get to the next level is that you have to be problem aware. If you're aware of what type of person you are, it's when you actually can start improving. When I realized I was a dabbler, so I realized what I needed to do to become someone who was committed to mastery. So I want you all to be honest with me. What type of salesperson are you? Type in the chat. What do we got so far? We got 4. Everybody's committed to mastery here. I love that. Okay, good. Good to see. So after my dad lost all the money and I was working in the supermarket 30 grand, that was making 30 grand a year, this gave me a chip on my shoulder. A chip on my shoulder to push me to put myself in the position where I am here today. Everybody has a chip on their shoulder. There's a reason why you're on this training today, because you have a chip on your shoulder that's making you be here to put yourself, your family in the positions that you guys want to be in. So ask yourself this question. What is the chip on your shoulder? I want to see in the comments, what is your guys' chip on your shoulder? What is pushing you? What is driving you to get to that next level? Okay, I see a couple here. Amazing. So now we have the next steps, which is the actual part of the training that I know all you guys are super excited about. So I've analyzed thousands of sales calls and I've spoke to hundreds of salespeople. And I found a framework, a 3-step framework that took me from 0 to 70 grand a month in commissions. And the first step of that framework is understanding how to pre-handle objections. Now, what we're doing by pre-handling objections is we're essentially understanding what's going to be coming up at the end of that conversation so we can prevent it from happening and lower the prospect's resistance. Now, it sounds very nuanced when you say that. Like, how am I supposed to like prevent something that's going to come up in the future? How am I supposed to know what's going to come up in the future? But it's through a sequence I'm about to show you that will allow you to understand what's going to be coming up in the future with your prospects. Because the issue is, if you leave all the objections to the end, the prospect is going to have so much resistance that they're just not going to buy. It's like a bar, right? I like to always explain like a bar. And the bar maybe is like this big. And if you do not overcome your prospect's resistance and concerns and stays this big, you're not going to be able to help them, number one. And number two, it's going to be so big that maybe if you do help them, you've been on the call for 1 hour, maybe 2 hours, and you finally overcome that objection after pushing them to do something, and they probably just refund afterwards. There's so much resistance. Or if you pre-handle the objection and you're able to lower their resistance, it becomes a lot easier. So it's exactly what I'm about to show you guys here now. So when it comes to revealing the real objection, the first part of pre-handling is this 2-step sequence that actually allows you to get the objection that will come up. So this is what I always like to use. I want you guys to really listen up. So I always ask, what have you done in the past in terms of investing so you can get to the outcome that you want to get to? Let's use trading for an example. What have you done in terms of investing in a trading mentorship so you can get to the outcomes that you want to for yourself and your family? Most people say nothing. I mean, 99% of people will always say nothing. And once they say nothing, we want to ask, what has prevented you from investing? Now, why do we ask this? Because past experiences will lead to beliefs. For example, let's say as a kid, you had food poisoning at McDonald's, like 8 years of age. At 18, that experience has built a belief system in your mind that's going to prevent you from wanting McDonald's when you're older because it has built that experience and has built that belief system. So essentially, what prevented them in the past is probably going to prevent them what? Again. And that's what we need to do, is prevent the objection from coming up in the first place. But here's where 99% of salespeople fail, is that they think the first thing the prospect says when they ask this question is actually the real objection. But I hate to break it to you guys, it's not. So this is where most salespeople get stuck. There's 3 parts. There's the smoke screen, there's digging deeper, and there's the actual real objection, which is only money and fear. Most people get stuck at the smoke screen. The first thing the prospect tells you is where most people will be stuck. And if you're stuck at that part, you won't actually be able to overcome their concern. Let me give you an example. Let's say your best friend doesn't want to go to the gym and they tell you, hey, I don't want to go to the gym because I don't have the time to go to the gym. But then you know that their actual concern is that they're fearful of going to the gym because they went to the gym and they got embarrassed. Their real concern is that they're embarrassed. The smoke screen that they're telling you is that they don't have the time. So if you concentrate on the smoke screen and you don't overcome the real concern, have we actually overcame his concern? Is he actually going to go to the gym? Probably not. Same thing goes towards a sales call. Are they actually going to close if you don't overcome the real concern in pre-handle? Probably not. So going to the next slide. This is a fake objection example. I want to show you guys something that prospects typically say. How many times in the chat do you guys, when you ask this question, what has prevented you? Most prospects tell you, oh, I just didn't have the time to get into training. Oh, I didn't know it was out there. And all these different fake objections they give us. How many times do we hear that? Probably a lot, right? So let me show you exactly how you overcome this. Let's say a prospect tells you, hey, I don't have the time. I always want to say, I appreciate you for being honest with me, but can I share a quick suggestion? I'm like, yeah, sure, why not? I'm like, what if I told you you're viewing time the wrong way? And they're like, oh, well, how do you mean? Well, is it fair to say we all have the same 24 hours? And they'll be like, yeah. Okay, so what separates anyone who's gotten the level of success that you want to get to and you if you both have the same 24 hours in your day? It's what we prioritize, right? And they're like, yeah, right. So what prevented you from prioritizing getting the training so you can get to where you need to be for your family? Now, this is where we'll unlock the actual objection, because we get underneath the layer and underneath the surface. The issue is most people get stuck at the surface, but you have to get underneath. I really want you guys to pay attention to what I did there. What prevented you from prioritizing the time so you can get to the outcome that you want to get to? The reason I asked the what's prevented you question again, because that's actually going to unlock the fake objection the prospects are telling us. Now, let's go to the real objections that our prospects are going to give us, because I want you guys to really understand how to overcome this. The first part of overcoming, let's say the money, because this is one of the main objections that we're going to be getting in pre-handling. It's like, how do you pre-handle the money when they don't even know the price? That's what a lot of people tell me. It's like, how do you pre-handle the money when they don't even know the price? I'll show you guys exactly how to do that. So the first part of overcoming the money is understanding where they are mentally when they give you that objection. Because the prospect is in price-based thinking, not outcome-based thinking. And if they're in price-based thinking, they're probably not going to move forward, right? So we have to shift them out of that price-based thinking. So the question I asked, number one, is like, oh, where did that way of thinking come from? Because we need to understand where the prospect's mindset was when they're in that price-based thinking, not in the results-based thinking. I'm like, oh yeah, I knew it was going to be expensive. I looked online and I seen that the program could be like $5,000. I'd be like, okay, it just depends on what way you view the money. Most of our successful clients, they don't view money as a problem. They view it as like a symptom of the problem. So look at what I did. This is really important because I actually identity framed them at the same time. I said, most of our successful clients, does he want to be a successful client? Obviously. So I'm framing him to be a person who doesn't think like an unsuccessful client, but more like a successful client. Our successful clients, they don't view money as a problem. They view it as a symptom. Because if you had the skills, what would you have more of? More money, right? There you go. You see, and now they're starting to get this. Because that way of thinking where you prioritize the money rather than the skills, where has that led us in the past 2 years? It's going to be like, oh, where I am here today. This is really important because most people think that's like an amazing answer. Oh yeah, the prospect told you it's where he is here today. But that's not actually a good answer. We need to understand, and he needs to visualize, where actually is he? Like, where has he actually put himself in because of that way of thinking? I'm like, where exactly is that though? Oh, where I can't do X, Y, and Z for my family. And then here's how we prevent the concern from coming up. My only concern is if you keep prioritizing money rather than the skills, where's that going to lead you? I'm going to be in the same place. Are you willing to settle for that? No. Why not though? Because most people do. They're like, no, because I need to change for my family and X, Y, Z. So why now do you feel like it's time to overcome this way of thinking so you can change you and your family's life? Look what I did there. Why now are you going to overcome this way of thinking? So is there any possibility of this person giving me the objection at the end? Probably not, right? Because we just overcame his way of thinking. Now he's admitted that he's not going to have this way of thinking again. So when we get to the end of the conversation, we've lowered the resistance, lowered the limiting beliefs, and now we have an open conversation. Now, the main one that you guys will get is fear. I want to help you with overcoming the fear. This one is a very big one that most of you guys will get. And you'll get this in different types because understanding fear, everyone thinks, oh, fear is just one big objection. No, there's different types of fears that we can get. Right? It's not just like fear is not one thing. There's different types of fears. Let me break that down for a second. There's fears of past failures. For example, you tried something in the past and you didn't get the result that you needed to. So you have a fear of that past failure. Or you have a fear of the future, of what could happen if you don't get the result. Or you have a fear of putting in the commitment level, doing the work necessary to get the result. Right? So these are different types of fears. Now we need to understand how we overcome this. So let's say someone says to me, yeah, I tried something in the past and it didn't work, right? Let's say they say that to me. The first thing I'm going to say is be like, well, I appreciate you for sharing that with me. And listen to this because I'm identity framing the prospect. You guys will really learn how to identity frame a prospect on this. When it comes to you having that experience, I appreciate you for being on the call. Because it shows a lot about you that you're on the call, willing and wanting to reinvest in your skills. Because you'd be surprised how many salespeople like just let that way of thinking overcome them rather than overcoming that way of thinking. What typically happens to those people? What typically happens to those people? What are we doing? We're getting the prospect to tell us what happens to the people who let that way of thinking overcome them rather than overcoming that way of thinking. It's really important. The second step is, why is it so important for you not to be like one of them? So now they're telling themselves why they're not going to be a person who lets that experience overcome them. Then you want to add in an accountability call out. I like to do it, right? I actually call them out. I'm like, would it be a crazy thing for me to say, like, as someone who wants you to win, that like you actually have let that way of thinking overcome you for like the past 2 years? I'm like, oh no, that's not a crazy thing to say. Because you letting that fear overcome you for the past 2 years, where has that led you? What's led me to where I am here today? So what's going to continue to happen if you keep allowing this way of thinking to overcome you? Well, I'm going to stay in the same place. Are you willing to settle for that? No. Why not though? So why now are you going to overcome this way of thinking? Does everyone see a pattern? It's the same framework. We're just adding an identity frame and reframing him out of the identity of a person who lets that experience overcome him. Then we're getting him to understand the consequences of what happens to the people who let those experiences overcome them and why he's not going to be like one of them. Is everybody getting this? I just want to look at the chat to make sure everybody's getting this. Type 1 in the chat if you're getting this. Okay, good. Love this. Everybody learning, yeah? Okay. That's good to hear. Good to hear. So, a very important quote that Tony Robbins says is, you will fail for the simple reasons you don't learn the right skills to succeed. Now, why I put this quote up here? Because most of you guys will see here and will like watch me overcome the one surface level objection and think you got it all. Now you're prepared. But the reality is that there's like 20 other smoke screens that come up before you even get the real objection. But the ones who are committed are not the ones who just watch this, get excited, are the ones who actually implement this and take action. It's really important for you guys not just be like sitting here and watching this, is actually writing it down. So when you come out of this training, you're implementing everything I'm saying and you're actually taking action. So next slide I want to get to is my wealth through sales method. So this is really important because the wealth through sales method is the method that allowed me in my first month ever in 7th level and selling anything to make $30,000 a month in commissions. Because I came into that company and in that first month I made 30,000 as I mentioned. But did I have amazing skill sets? Did I come in like already Jeremy Miner and start closing everybody? No. I learned how to make money through not just relying on the people in front of me, but creating wealth around. So I want to ask you all a very serious question, because typically in sales, we all have about 8 sales calls a day, maybe 4 show up at a 50% show ratio, and then we work about 4 hours. So when you don't have a sales call, what do you actually do? So in the chat, let me know, what do you do when you're not on a sales call? RGA, messaging leads on IG, role plays, watching YouTube. Okay, so a lot of you guys I can see that aren't actually doing the things necessary for RGA. So let me get this up for you now. Give me 1 second. So when it comes to my RGA process, there's 4 steps that I take, which is number 1, if you guys can see here, is referrals. Because most overlooked is referrals, because most people like don't know they're literally sitting on a gold mine. There's like 5 to 10 like leads you can literally get off one person that you close if you just actually concentrate on referrals. So how do we do referrals? There's 3-step sequence that I have. Number 1 is I ask for the referral on that call. So I always do it this way. Is there anybody you know that may benefit off like getting XYZ skill like you have today? For example, let's do sales training. Is there anybody you know that could benefit from getting into training and getting XYZ outcome like you did today? I'd be like, oh yeah, maybe I know some people, or maybe like, oh, maybe I don't, right? Like, cool, no worries. Next week, I'm going to call them and I'm going to say, hey man, do you remember when we had a conversation about like you helping someone get into training so they could also like get the same outcomes that you wanted? Like, were you able to find anybody? And like, this is where people are flingy. Sometimes they get you people, sometimes they don't. If they don't, I do something called the in-depth method, right? The in-depth method essentially is if you do something for somebody, they feel like they owe you something, right? So how I do this is that I book a free coaching call with them to see their progression, right? So I book a free coaching call. Let's say you're a client. I'll book a free coaching call with you in 30 days. I'm going to see your progression, see where you are, where you need to get to. I'm going to create a game plan for you, but I'm going to challenge you on the referral. I'm going to help you create a step-by-step game plan on how to get me the referral. Let me give you an example. If I have John over here who just joined my offer and I'm doing the game plan session with him, I'm going to tell him, hey man, this is what you have to do to get the referral so you can help them change their life too. You're going to have to, number 1, like actually reach out to them. Like, I want you to send this exact message to 10 people that you know, and you're going to actually send them this message. Once you send them this message and they reply, you're going to add us to a group chat together so then I can help them with the rest of the process. And then you're going to tell them exactly what you've learned and the benefits from this program. Once they have everything, you're going to start getting like 5 to 10 referrals. Imagine you do this per client, and per client is bringing you 1 to 3 referrals per client that you sign on. How much more would you be making in commissions if you were able to get 1 to 3 referrals per client that you signed on? Ask that question for me. Probably a lot more, right? Of course. The second is follow-ups. With following up, like most people don't actually know or even have a real follow-up process. Like they just like wing it. It's just like, okay, today I'm going to do this, tomorrow I'm going to do this, and they just send some random emails and hope that the prospect gets back. But I use a method, it's called the proof/certainty method, where in this method, I'm going to do a couple things. Number one, I'm going to send a testimonial, right? So as soon as I get off the call, I'm going to send them a testimonial if they don't buy. Because most people buy because of the lack of what? Certainty. Sending them a testimonial will give them what? Certainty. This is what they need. So this is really important. We give them that certainty through the testimonial because they watch someone that has actually been in the position that they have been in, has gone out the other side, has gotten the result that they want to. Then I'm going to text them. Once they watch the testimonial and they didn't reply to me, I'm going to say, hey, man, I never heard back from you. Where did you want to go from here? The goal here is to actually get an objection. As crazy as that sounds, the goal is for the prospect to give you an objection. Obviously for them to buy, but most of the time you're probably going to get an objection. So when you get an objection, I want to do the back in the pipeline method. This is what I call the back in the pipeline method. So I thought about the concern you had. I'm going to send them a message. I thought about the concern you had. I think there's some ways that we could still help you with getting into training, maybe some lower training options or some other funding options. Would you be totally opposed to having a conversation about that? And when we get on the call with them, we're going to be able to then get on a call and objection handle them and try to get them into training. If you at least, out of the hundreds of people that you guys probably have sales calls with, if you could at least get an extra 10 sales a month, how much extra would you be making in commissions? Ask yourself that question, right? Super important. Now, getting more pay in fulls. This is one of the most like, I don't see this ever in sales. I don't know why people don't do this. This is crazy to me, right? But like getting pay in fulls in sales calls is one of the most important things. The reps I've trained, I see a lot of them, when they first came to me, they were like, oh, JP, like I'm doing like 10 grand in commissions. And I'm like, okay, so like what's your average cash collected per deal closed? Let's say their ticket offer was 10 grand. They were collecting an average of like 5 grand per deal closed. And I was like, man, you're leaving 5 grand on the table every single time. If you just didn't touch anything in terms of your sales and you just got more paid in fulls, how much more money would you be making? You'd be 2xing your income. You'd be like, okay, yeah. So then we taught him this method. It's called the PIF, the challenge on a call method, where once he challenges the prospect on the call, he was getting like an 80 to 90 higher percent rate of PIFs. So this is how you do it. On the call, once you pay, let's say they pay a payment plan. Let's say they pay you 2 payments of 5K. The program is 10K. They pay you 5K down. This is what you're going to do. You'll be like, how do you feel, man? Like, how do you actually feel investing in yourself? They're like, oh, yeah, I feel really good. I'll be like, okay, what are you like most excited about in terms of getting in the program and getting the result you want to for yourself and your family? They'll be like, yeah, I'm most excited about like X, Y, Z part of the program. I'll be like, amazing. Now, before you leave, like, would it be a crazy idea for me to challenge you? I'm like, oh, well, how do you mean? I want to hold you accountable since you're coming into the program to get the result that you need to. Listen to this, it's really important. Can I challenge you to go all in? Now, what I mean by that is I want you to pay in full. Now, why would I want you to do that? Because I want you to put yourself in an uncomfortable position. Because humans grow not from a place of comfort, they grow from a place of discomfort. So as a coach, can I challenge you to go all in so you can put yourself in that position so you can get a different outcome for yourself and your family? Now, what's the worst case scenario? If we do this every single call that we get a payment plan, what's the worst case scenario? They say no. Okay. But if you get an extra 30% of PIFs, how much more money could you be making if you implemented this into every single one of your sales calls? Probably a lot more money, right? Now, this is one part of the sequence. The second part of the sequence is actually being able to do it like not just when they don't pay in full on that call, but throughout the month. Like I used to always, when I was working at 7th, I used to always like call all my payment plans before the end of the month and get them to pay in full with the exact same challenge sequence. So whenever you have payment plans, and if you can get like, call them before the end of the month, get them to pay in full, If you can get like an extra 30% of people to pay in full, how much more money would you guys be making? That's what you have to ask yourself. So this is what I really want you guys to implement. Second is last one is going to be upsells. Okay. When it comes to upselling, there's a couple of things that you have to do to really get them into the way of thinking of upselling. Because I typically upsell a client within 30 days. I want you guys to know, within 30 days, I'm upselling a client, right? So this is how you do it. On the call, I want to see doubt. How I would do that is, hey man, I know we could only get you on like the lower ticket today. Like for example, because every program has 3 offers, right? Typically every program has 3 offers: high ticket, mid ticket, low ticket. Let's say you guys get them in the mid ticket. I'd be like, I know we could only get you in this program today. My goal for you is to be in this program because that's where most of our successful clients are. What am I doing here? I'm identity framing him because I'm telling him where most of our successful clients are. They're in what? The other program. So this is what they have to understand, is that most of these successful clients are in the other program. So now they're being framed to be a person who wants to be in that other program. So then I'm going to book a 30-day reflection call. A 30-day reflection call. In that 30-day reflection call, I'm going to do a couple of things. Number one, I'm going to create a game plan for them. I'm going to tell them, hey, in 30 days, I want to meet with you and see where you are and where you need to be. So you book that call, and on that call, you're going to do a couple of things. Number one is you're going to see where they are, where they need to be. You're going to create a gap. You're going to create that gap based upon what's going to get them there quicker. Because people value speed. People value speed to getting the result. So you need to help them understand that they can get the result quicker. And if they get the result quicker, they're going to make a lot more money. And the longer it takes to get the result, what are they going to leave on the table? More money, right? So I always want to build a gap on their current situation, see where they want to get to, build a gap on how long it's going to take if they continue with this program, and what they're going to gain from getting into the other program. Is everybody keeping up with me now? Cool. All right. I want to see 1 in the chat. I know we're talking about a lot of things here. Type 1 in the chat if you guys can understand everything I'm saying. You guys are keeping up here. We got some 2s. Cool. Will this call recording be recorded? That is something that we'll have to wait and see. All right, cool. Cool. All right, I just want to make sure that everybody's really paying attention because a lot of things here that we're talking about, you guys are really going to be needing. Why do you wait 30 days? Because if you do it too soon, there's going to be resistance in the prospect. If you do it like right away, they're going to be like, hey, I just got into the program. Like, why are you trying to upsell me? And if you wait 30 days, it gives them like a sufficient amount of time to go to the program, make sure they're doing the things necessary. As well as that, like I want to make sure that in that time period, I'm calling them and seeing like, okay, hey, how's it going in the program? And I want to keep them accountable to like doing the things necessary that they need to throughout those 30 days. So they're actually going to be in ready to go, right? Which is one of the most important things. So if I can call them throughout the time and they're actually showing up to the training, they're going to be able to get to the outcome that they need to be in. Does that make sense, everybody? Cool. Okay. So I know everybody loves objection handling. So that's exactly what we're going to be in here. What I want to say, because we have about a lot of people in here, right? Like the people who are still in here, it tells me there's a high level rim. It tells me that a lot of you guys are committed to mastering. So now let's dive deep into like one of the most important skills, which is objection handling. I know you guys came here and a lot of you guys watch my reels and you guys see me objection handling. Like, okay, I really want to learn how you objection handle. So this is my exact formula on how I do so. So when it comes to objections, there's 2 types. There's the smoke screen and there's the actual real concerns in the prospect's mind. Going back to like what I said in pre-handling, most people get stuck at the part where they get stuck at the smoke screens, right? They get stuck at the, I don't know if it's the right time. I need to think about it. I want to go to the free resources and I want to speak to my partner. All these different things that the prospect is telling you that is a smoke screen is where most people get stuck. Where what you really want to do is get to the real objection, the real concern, because the longer you're on the smoke screen, as I mentioned earlier, the harder it is for you to overcome that concern. Okay? So let me get into my principles, because I have a couple principles to overcome objections that I stick to. And if you stick to these principles of objection handling, I'm telling you, it's so easy to get the prospect to change their mind. So my principles go as follow. Number one is don't listen to what the prospect says, listen to what they mean by what they say. So if we look at the objection that I had right there, which was like, I want to go through the free resources. That's typically what people will say, right? If you listen to what he says, it sounds like, oh yeah, he needs to go through free resources. But if you listen to what he means by what he says, he's actually uncertain. Listen to this, right? If he knew he couldn't fail, would he do it? Yes. So what is he missing? A lack of clarity, a lack of certainty. What does uncertainty mean? It means fear. So what is the actual objection? It's fear, right? So once you understand that what they're telling you isn't actually the real concern, is how you can get to the real objection quicker. The second principle I have is cutting through the bullshit. For example, I need to speak to my partner. Like if someone says I need to speak to my partner, this sequence has worked for me so many times. I don't know why people don't use it, but this is like the quickest way to get them to like out of that concern, right? Out of that concern really quickly. And you don't even have to handle the partner objection most of the time. Like put a one in the chat if you guys lose sales to partner objections that you get. And I'm gonna show you literally a framework on how you don't even have to even look at it twice. I got a lot of people that lose the sales to partner objection. Okay, cool. So let me show you the example. Someone says, hey, I need to go speak to my partner. I'd be like, okay, money out of the equation. Like, would you do it? And they'd be like, yeah. I'm like, oh, so it's not really that you need to like speak to your partner. It's more just about the money. The process is like, oh, yeah, you're right. Listen to what I just did there. I just called out the fake objection. So they agreed that it wasn't a partner objection and they agreed it was a money objection. When they agreed it was a money objection, they can't go back to the partner and they can't go back to that concern. So now we eliminated the fake objection and we're straight into the real objection. Now, obviously, if they say no, you have to handle the partner. But like, look at how we can get to the real objection way quicker. The amount of times I just say like, hey, money aside, would you do it? They'd be like, oh yeah. Okay, so it's not a case when you go speak to your partner. It's more just about the money. And I say, yeah, you're right. And once I get to the money, I'm right away there. And like, boom, I don't even have to handle the partner objection. And I'm onto the money, which is a real concern. Where most of you guys are staying there handling the partner like 10, 15, 20 minutes, and then you don't actually get to a real objection. Like one of the most important things I did there, which is my third principle, is I got the prospect to admit the real objection. Because once they admit it, we can start overcoming it. I can't overcome something that they don't admit. If you, like, for example, going back to the analogy that I said earlier about the person who doesn't want to go to the gym because they're insecure and their concern they're telling you is that they don't have the time. Going back to that person, if you start handling the fear rather than the time, and you don't call out the objection and you don't get them to admit that the time isn't the real objection, you can't handle the real objection if you don't get them to admit that the fake objection is not actually the objection. Because if they don't agree with it and they don't believe it and you just start handling the fear, I'm like, what is this person doing? So it's very important to actually call it out, get them to admit it, and once they admit it, you can start overcoming it. One of the reasons why I preach on this so much is because the longer it takes for you to overcome your prospect's objection, the longer it takes for you to actually like get them out of their way of thinking, the harder it becomes. Have any of you guys ever gone skydiving? It's super shit scary, right? I haven't done it, but I've heard of people who have done it. And when you're sitting at that cockpit door and you're about to jump, the longer it takes to jump, is it going to become easier or is it going to become harder? Obviously going to become harder, right? Because that fear in your belly, does it just go away or does it just like become bigger? It becomes bigger. So this is the issue, is that if you don't overcome their fear quick enough and you don't get to the real objection quick enough, you're not going to be able to get them to change their belief system, because the longer they're in that belief system, the harder it is to overcome. Is everyone understanding this? The longer they're in that belief system, the harder it will be to overcome. This is super important. The last one, which is one of the most important things, is shifting their identity. Get the prospect to make a decision based on who they want to become, not who they are. If you guys, I'm sure you guys probably watch my sales calls on YouTube, and I always preach about this and I always talk about this, about getting them to make a decision, not based on where they are, but where they need to be. Because we have to get them to understand that the person who they are now isn't in the position that he wants to be in. So if they continue to make decisions like that person, what's going to continue to happen? The same results. But if they make a decision like the person who they want to be, what results are they going to start getting? Those results, right? So I always frame my closing questions with their outcomes in mind. So the person who you want to be, for example, the person who you want to be, who's been able to change you, your family's life, who's been able to make 50 grand a month, what would he do to put himself and his family in the best position going forward? Does he overcome the adversity or does he let it overcome him? And like, no, he would overcome it. So what do you feel like you need to do to become that person? Oh, well, I obviously need to do it. Right. You see, does everyone keeping up here? Okay. Super important. So before I get into the next slide, I just want to make sure everybody is here with me. Okay. Is everybody here with me? You're still here. Everybody's paying attention. I want to make sure we're still in a high level engaged room because this is really important. We're about to get into, okay? We're still in a high level engaged room. Okay, good. So a lot of you guys may be seeing everything we're talking about today. You may ask yourself the question, oh, will this work for me? Like, I'm in XYZ industry, I do XYZ. Like, can this even work for me? Can I even put myself in the same position that JP did 1.5 years into selling where he's able to make $1 million in commissions? I can't guarantee you anything. I can guarantee you I can teach you the skills necessary that I use to make my first $1 million in commissions. But here's a few people who have been in the same position as you guys, who have changed their life so you can see what transformation they had or what outcomes they had in their life. So let's start with Kobe. He had invested tens of thousands in trainings. But every time he invested, he couldn't get past the part that he needed to get to. He was always trying to get to 10 grand a month. He was always stuck at 3. He invested tens of thousands and he was always stuck at 3. And he finally decided to reinvest in himself because he didn't invest for 2 years. Why do you think he didn't invest in 2 years, guys? It's what we spoke about earlier. He let the fear of past failures overcome him. And if you let the fear of past failures overcome you and you don't actually try anything else, what's going to continue to happen? Because does anyone know who Elon Musk is? I'm sure everybody here knows who Elon Musk is. Elon Musk, he started 9 businesses before he became successful. 8 of the 9 were unsuccessful. So if he gave up at the 8th, where would he have been? Like if Kobe gave up after the 3rd, 4th, or 5th program that he invested in, where would he have been? Probably nowhere, right? But he continued to reinvest. There's Joel. Joel's the guy who tried every free training, literally everything. YouTube, webinars, free resources, anything you can imagine. But it's what I spoke about earlier. When it comes to going to the gym, you can do it by watching all the free stuff and doing it on your own, but you don't know how to do the right form. The training is where you're going to get the form. If you go by yourself and you don't have the exact specific manual on how to do it, and you have someone who's been there, who's coached people to get from A to B, you're probably not going to get those same results. And when Joel decided to just stop looking at all the free resources and actually start committing to himself, what do you think happened, guys? He went from 2 grand a month to 28 grand a month. You know what's crazy? This guy, Joel, do you guys want to know how much commission, percentage of commission he has? He allowed me to share this with you guys, but this guy is on 7% commissions. So 28,000 at 7% commissions. Does anyone know what that is? That is $400,000 in cash collected. How many of you guys have collected $400,000 in cash collected? You know how long he was working with me? 25 days. $400,000 in cash collected in 25 days. How many of you guys have done that? We have Luke. He was a bit of a know-it-aller. He thought he was capped. I remember he came in, he thought he was capped. He was the number 1 closer on his team, which was good. And he was making 20 grand a month. He was blaming the offer. He was blaming the leads. He was blaming the marketing. He was saying he didn't have a high enough ticket pricing to sell people. But the dangerous moment is when you actually think you've made it and you stop growing. As they say, the saying, if you're not growing, you're what? You're dying. So he became a know-it-aller. But when he decided to stop being a know-it-aller and he decided to actually commit to doing the things necessary so he could put him and his family in the position that he wanted to be in, 30 days later, guys, he went from 20 grand a month to 40 grand a month. I want to say again, 20 grand a month to 40 grand a month. It's pretty crazy, right? Income, life-changing, and everything. Then we have Daniel. Daniel, I remember he was terrified. He'd been burned before. He was on the sales call. This guy was super scared to do anything. He's oh, what if it doesn't work for me? I was objection hunting him for an hour, and I didn't give up. I didn't give up because I knew I wasn't doing it to him. I was doing it for him because I wanted him to change his life. But here's the thing. There's two types of people when you get hit by fear. There's the type of people who let that skepticism control them, or there's the type of people who let that skepticism, they actually overcome that skepticism and let it push them. That's exactly what Daniel did. Funny enough, he's on the same offer as Joe on 7% commissions. He went from 3 grand a month to 22 grand a month. You guys can do the math. How much did he collect? Like $300,000? How many of you guys have collected $300,000? Not a lot, right? If you guys are still with me, I'm committed in the chat. If you guys are actually committed to watching this, you guys still with me? Okay. So everybody's been asking me one thing throughout the whole time that I've been leading up to this training is, are you going to allow people to book in with you and your team? Because I'm showing you guys these results of people that I've gotten, and I've publicized absolutely nothing over the last 3 months. I've kept everything super private. But I decided I'm finally going to allow you guys to book a call with me and my team. But here's the thing. It's me and like 2 other people. So we're not like a 100-person team. There's like multiple of you guys in here, right? So what I'm going to do is going to allow you guys to actually book an assessment call with me and my team. It's going to be a one-on-one. We're actually going to assess your skills, see where you're at, see what bottlenecks you're running into, and what you need to work on. I'm going to personally train you and show you a plan that will work for you so you can get to where you need to be. So if you guys are ready to stop staying where you're at, committing to mastery so you can get to where you need to be for you, yourself, and your family, book the call below. I want you guys to stay tuned, by the way. We have a very special guest coming right after this. Very special guest coming right after this, okay? Cool. So I'm about to put the assessment call link right in the chat. So it should be coming in 2 seconds. Give me 1 sec. All right, everybody has the assessment call link. We're probably sending it in the chat right now. Do you guys have any questions on anything we've covered so far? We're about to introduce a special guest soon. How much is the coaching if we need the help? Guys, we have like every single options that you guys need to like get in here. Like every single option. If you think, oh, I don't have the money, like do not worry, book the call. There's ways that we can help you. Okay? There's ways that we can help you. Would you identity frame in problem awareness or situation? I'd identity frame when I understand what type of person they are. As soon as I understand what type of person they are, I'm going to start identity framing. For example, if I understand they're an A type, at the very beginning of the call, I'll identity frame them right away. Is that making sense, everybody? I'm new to sales. Is there a point in me booking a call? Of course. There's 2 types of people, right? There's the people who are reactive, who wait to get a sales role, wait to get the training. And then those people typically get fired within the first 2 weeks. Or the people who are proactive, who get the training prior to needing it. And those people learn the skill. So what typically happens to their income and skill level? It goes up. It goes up. How do you memorize a sales script properly? Crazy idea. You're going to have to read it. This is the thing, right? It's like Leonardo DiCaprio. These famous movie stars that you guys watch every single day, do they just like show up like and they start reading the script on the movie, or do they like have it memorized? They have it memorized. What I see is most people don't even memorize their script. If they don't memorize their script, what's going to happen? They're going to continue to get the same results. You guys should be getting the assessment call link. Make sure you book it in. Paul is putting it in the comments for you guys. I'm going to pop it in here. A network marketing offer that doesn't provide leads. So you got to find the leads yourself. You got to do RGA, as we talked about. Cool. So I want you guys to stay tuned because we're about to bring in our special guest. So give me 1 second. JP, I'm going to make some money one day, 100%. All right. Are you guys ready to introduce our special guest? This is a big one, guys. I've been twisting some arms to get him in here. He is one of the biggest names at 7th level. He actually recruited me to 7th level, has spoken on hundreds of stages with Jeremy Minor Live, has been in the company since it ever began. We have Anthony Vazzari, everybody.
All right. What's up, everybody? I heard there's a bit of a party today, JP. It's good to be here. Welcome. Good to
Yes, sir.
see everybody. What's going on?
Thank you. Thank you for showing up. I know I had to twist some arms to get you in here, but I'm happy you finally made it. And yeah, I'm excited.
Yeah. So, JP, do you want to do this? Do you want to make me a co-host, please?
Yes, I will
That
do.
way everybody can see me. And yeah, welcome everybody. I just wrapped up a call with Jeremy. Actually, we're just running out one of our Advanced Inner Circle training sessions. So I'm glad I could make it. Just jumped on now. I heard there was a bit of a training today from JP. So good to be here. So yeah, JP, I think you had a couple of questions, or what
Yeah,
did you want to go
exactly
through?
right.
There's
I had
amazing
a
group
couple
of people
questions.
here, I see.
Yeah, because a lot of people here were asking, they're like, oh, should I book a call if I don't have an offer, right? And as you know, you hired me as 7th level, and I was 3 months or 2 months actually into selling anything, right? And you basically hired me with next to none experience. So the people that have next to none experience, what advice would you give them to get on an offer if they wanted to at this point in time?
Yeah, it's a good question. And I think the best experiences come from our own because it's raw and it's real. And I can only tell you what helped me. Think of any elite athlete out there in the world or any profession. Okay. You think of your best tennis player. Think of like a Serena Williams or a Novak Djokovic, or think of a actor like Leonardo DiCaprio or a business mogul like Warren Buffett. In any arena, any profession, think of your best brain surgeon, your best doctor, a chiropractor. What's the best chances of landing in that profession? Is it to wing it and fall into it? Or is it to put yourself in a position where you acquire the skills so that you're attractive to somebody? And you're talking to somebody like myself, guys. I have literally, I've helped scale up 7th level. I helped scale up one of the largest done for you sales companies on the planet as well. I've hired thousands of reps. I've probably fired hundreds of reps as well. I know what works and I know what didn't work. Like JP said, I actually hired him. This was a couple of years ago. I remember that call. It was great. And the people that stand out to me when I'm in that position, I'm hiring somebody for an offer or for a company, is somebody that has the ability to invest in themselves in terms of the skill set, because I know they're willing to get better every single day. So the best chance, doesn't matter what you're doing, whether it's this or whether it's something else, or whether you want to go play soccer or you want to go play hockey, is get the skills so you can land on the team. Think of your favorite sporting team. Is that coach gonna recruit you, or they're gonna draft you if you don't have the skills and hope and pray that you're gonna be a good player? No, they're only gonna pick the best of the best. So put yourself in the positions, and well done to you all. I can tell this is a really high level group because you made it. What day is it today? Like Wednesday for you or Thursday on my side of the world. You're here. You didn't have to be here right now. That already tells me you have that success ingredient. You got to follow through and make sure you're putting yourself in the position to acquire the skills. So get the skill set and then show up and be hungry.
Yeah.
Be hungry. So there's a bit of nuggets there for you all, but yeah, make sure you show up, make sure you're hungry, but make sure you put yourself in a position to get the skill set. The amount of people, JP, that came to me and said, oh yeah, I want a job. I want to work for 7th level, or I want to work for one of the other 100 sales companies I was managing at the time. Great. What sort of sales training have you done in the past? I haven't done any. Like, I'm not going to hire you. So, and I'm not saying that's the end of the road for you, but I'm saying like you got to stand out to the people. Like the competition is out there. So put yourself in a position to stand out. That's something that served me in my career from the start. I always put myself in positions where I stand out. So yeah, hope that helps.
100%. What do you think I did to stand out? What made me different? Why? Because I'm sure there's people with years.
Well,
of
you're a bit
experience.
of a man. You're a bit of a unique. I would say, a cat yourself. You know why?
I don't.
I remember our interview. So I was on a hiring spree for 7th level when I was running the sales team. This was, what was it? Like, was it a year ago, 2 years ago, JP? I don't even
2020,
remember.
2024 January, actually, or February.
2024 January. Yep, that's right. Yeah, this is just before I was either in the US at the time. I think I might have been in LA or something. But I remember you jumping on Zoom, and I'm like, here we go. All right, this is probably my 10th interview for the day. I was on a bit of a hiring spree looking for our next sales savage. And I remember you jumping on, and I think you were in, I don't know, Dominican Republic at the time or something like that. And it was 3 a.m. where you were. So immediately you already stood out to me because you scheduled a time. I think my assistant reached out to you and said that was my only availability. And you didn't come back and say, oh, it's 3 a.m. my time, I'm going to be sleeping. You showed up and it was 3 a.m. So immediately, ding, you stood out to me. But one thing that I had realized, and you had only been selling for what, like, I don't know, a couple months, 2-3 months or so. What was it?
Exactly. Yeah,
2 months. Yeah. So you were selling for 2 months at the time, and I was like, he's only got 2 months of experience, but there was just something, man. I knew you were hungry, and I remember speaking to you, and I think I got you to role play. Oh no, that's right. I asked you to send me one of your objection handling calls, and I heard you in action. And there's your second standout. I was like, this guy's got a bit of sauce. I heard you objection handling a really tough prospect that gave you the think about it objection. You ended up turning that around and making the sales. So I was like, all right, I put you on the spot on the interview. And I remember asking you a question. I said, where do you want to be in the next 6 months? And you told me, you said, I'm going to be number one. I'm going to be number one. And that was a bold statement because large company, large sales team, got some absolute savages. But I knew that you had belief and you had conviction in yourself.
Yeah.
There are three things that somebody must have if they're going to be successful in sales. And I noticed all three in you. You need to have certainty, you need to have conviction, and you need to have confidence. If you do not have all three things, you can be selling the best product in the world and have the biggest laydown lead in front of you. You're not going to be able to sell it.
Yeah.
So when you're on the interview with me, I noticed you had all three, and I wanted to give you a shot. And I knew deep down that you could come in and make a mark. And hey, look where we are today. And you absolutely did that.
What I really want to ask you, because you've trained hundreds of reps, right? Hundreds of reps, hundreds of businesses, high-level businesses. Like, what separates the people who succeed and the people who don't? What is the biggest difference between either even the middle pack performers and the top performers?
It's a good question. I like to say you got to be hungry, humble, and smart. You got to be hungry going after the opportunity and hungry waking up every single day knowing that there is opportunity out there. It's just yours to get. And if you don't get it, somebody else is getting it. So you have to be hungry, guys. If you're not hungry, you're not going to. Do you think that the number one golfer in the world, the number one tennis player, soccer player, the number one actor in the world, the number one business person, businesswoman, businessman, do you think they got there not being hungry? No. See, in life, you've got people that are hungry and those that are waiting for somebody to come and feed them. The person that's hungry is going to go out there and hunt. They're going to go out and gather, and they're going to go out and get what is theirs. And this is a lesson I had to learn the hard way. Like, don't wait and sit on the sidelines expecting opportunities to fall in your lap. Do not wait. One of my mentors once told me, because I went from having zero sales experience to selling one of the toughest niches. I was selling doctors, dentists, high status, high net worth individuals like business owners, private practice owners, surgeons. And I sucked at the start, but I pursued hunger because I was hungry to get after it. So all day, every day, I'm just training, asking for help, raising my hand. I ended up stumbling across Jeremy Miner back in 2021. I joined his advanced inner circle program, and it changed everything for me. And the hunger got me across, but I also had to be humble enough to know that there are people out there that are smarter than me, because they got to a point where I was crushing it. What I sold in the first 12 months, in the first 24 months, having zero sales experience, nobody out there was doing that. But I had to be humble enough to know that, hey, there's always more to learn. It's funny. Everyone know Tony Robbins? You know, the motivational speaker, Anthony Robbins. You guys know that guy? So he had an event in 2011. One of my friends was at this event, and he had a very successful woman show up to this event. Let me know her name. Let me know her name if you know who she is. So she had a really challenging upbringing. She was abused like when she was like 14, 15 years old. It was terrible. She had like a stillborn baby at the age of 15. She grew up in a girls' home, and she was black in the South in the 60s. Who am I talking about? Who knows who I'm talking about?
I'm horrible at history, Anthony. I'm sorry.
Yeah. Her name's Oprah Winfrey. Does everyone know Oprah Winfrey? Who knows Oprah Winfrey?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Muhammad knows Oprah. So Tony's at this event and he asked the audience the same question I'm going to ask each of you. He says, on a scale of 1 to 10, like where are you at in playing life full out? And where are you at in reaching your full potential? And I'll never forget this first time I heard this. It was funny because my friend, he was with his girlfriend and they leaned over and they were sitting near Oprah and they're like, Oprah, where are you at? You must be at like a 20, right? Because is Oprah successful? Yes or no? Of
Yes.
course she's successful. She's super successful. She's a media mogul. She's a billionaire. Now, what number do you think Oprah gave herself out of 10 on where she's playing life full out? What number do you think she gave herself? She gave herself a 3.
Wow.
And why did she give herself a 3? Because Oprah knows something that most people don't, that there's always more inside of us. Most people have just gotten comfortable playing small and living small. So I'm going to ask you all the same question that Tony asked back at this event. Where are you all at on a scale of 1 to 10 in reaching your full potential and playing life full out? And nobody's at a 10, guys. 10 is like, I've mastered selling. I've mastered life. There is nothing more to learn. I've already made it. I already closed 100%. I'm on the offer I want. And 1 is like, there's a heck of a lot more I could be doing better. So what I want you to do is I want you to be real with me and put in the chat right now, where are you at? What's your number? What's your number? I'm seeing a lot of 1s, 4s, 2s, 3s. Thank you for your honesty. I'm going to tie us together as a group here because we're a team here. Yes or no? Why don't we say we're out of 3 together? And if we're out of 3, that tells me there's a heck of a lot more opportunity that everyone can be doing right now. Because if you're at a 3, that tells me that we're leaving 70% of the opportunity on the table. So you've got to be humble enough to accept that you're at a 3 and there are people out there that are smarter than you. And rather than learning from your own mistakes, learn from somebody else's. Does that make sense, everybody? Type yes in the chat if this is making sense. You guys picking up what I'm putting down? All right. I'm in the right room. I'm in the right room. So hungry, be humble, and be smart.
Amazing. Amazing. I love that, Anthony. So when it comes to new sales reps, right? It's one of the biggest things I get. What is the first step they should take? Because there's a lot of new people who don't know what is the first step to take to putting themselves in the positions that they need to be in. What is your advice for them?
Yeah, good question. Step 1, make a decision, guys. Step 1, make a decision. Make a decision, not where you want to be, but who you need to become. Most people are chasing, I want to be that. I want to be making this type of money. I want to be doing this. Forget all that, guys. Make a decision. Who do you want to become? You know why? Because when you understand the identity of the person you need to become, which is the same, I saw a glimpse of the objection handling you're doing there, which is why it's so powerful what JP was teaching you before on objection handling. When you understand the identity of the person you need to become, then you can reverse engineer the actions that you need to take to get to that person. It simply comes down to making a decision. I'm going to tell you something, guys. I wish I knew earlier on. I had to figure this out along the way, and I'm glad I did. I wouldn't be here if I didn't realize this. Success is simply a choice. Success is simply a choice. You may look at some people out there and you might say to yourself, that person's successful because they grew up in a good area. That person's successful because they had it easy. They had a good mentor. That person's successful because they're 7 foot tall. They got nice teeth. They got great hair. No. It is not. They're successful because they decided and they made a decision that they wanted to be successful. You guys picking up what I'm putting down? Like, guys, I want you to realize this. I am nobody special. I'm the senior vice president of the largest sales training company on the planet. I run events alongside Jeremy Miner. We run all the live events, all the virtual events together. I'm standing beside him. And I am some guy from Australia which has a population of, I don't know, like 30 something million people who failed high school, who was going down the wrong direction. But I made a freaking decision. And I remember the moment. See, JP, we had a similar background. I used to stack shelves at a supermarket.
Yeah.
I was working in a supermarket for 5 years.
Mm.
And I remember this one night pushing the same trolley down the same aisle for what felt like the 1,000th time, asking myself the question, what am I doing with my life? And I don't know if anybody here has ever asked yourself the question, what are you doing with your life? But I remember this one night I came home and I was wearing a white shirt, I had a black tie, my trousers, my slacks, and I had a badge. And this badge was my login badge for the supermarket I was working at. And I remember staring in the mirror this one night, looking at myself in the eyes, staring at the name on the badge, and underneath it said night fill assistant, which was my role. And I remember looking at this saying, is this really going to be the rest of my life? And I remember telling myself, no, I will not let that identity be me. I will not let that define my future. And no, that didn't magically change my life. But in that moment, guys, it did something powerful. I started to rewrite my own story. I started to tell myself there is more out there for me. And then I pursued mastery. I stopped being a winger. I stopped being a dabbler. And I said, what do I need to do to put myself in that position? Fast forward a couple of years. I'm in high ticket selling. I'm crushing it. I'm in the top 1%. And I had the opportunity to join the powerhouses of 7th level, simply because it did not fall in my lap. I guarantee you it didn't fall in my lap. I guarantee you that opportunity didn't come to some guy that's sitting in Australia with a population of barely anything. I made a decision to excel. I made a decision because I wanted to make it to mastery. So step one, guys.
Hello. Call Anthony.
The recording
This
has
meeting
stopped.
is being recorded.
Because the bar is so low. Think about how low the bar is. How much free content is out there these days? How much I can't scroll through Instagram these days without seeing some random talking about sales training. The bar is so low. So if you want to stand out, you've got to be better and put yourself out there and put yourself in a position that's better than everybody else. You guys picking up what I'm putting down? Everybody say yes.
Yeah.
Everybody say yes. Can you guys still hear me and see me? Yes? You guys still hear me and see me?
I think
Alright, cool.
Am I back now, guys? I had some technical issues for like 2 minutes. I think I should be good now. Everything good?
Yeah.
Okay.
I think you're good. You're good. Just
Okay.
spotlight us if you can, Paul. Just spotlight me and JP so everyone can see us.
Exactly. There we go. Cool. Anthony, any final words? That was amazing. I don't think there's much we can add to what you just said, right? There's a lot that you said, a lot that these people can come out of this and take away. Is there any final words you have for these people?
Yeah, I want to say this. Let me see if I've got this on screen. So what's on my screen, everyone? What fruit is on my screen? What is that? An orange. Now, what happens when you squeeze an orange? What comes out? Mohammed, you might need to get some glasses, my friend. I'm just giving you a hard time. It's not a pineapple. You're just being cheeky. Orange juice. Why does orange juice come out? Because that's what's on the inside. And my point is this. It can't come out unless it's on the inside. So if you're in sales right now, or if you're not in sales, you're trying to get in sales, what happens when you get squeezed? What happens when you get given an opportunity to improve your life? Or you're on a sales call and someone's in front of you that you can change their life? What comes out? Is it fear? Is it anxiety? Is it stress? Is it overwhelm? Is it self-doubt? Because I'm telling you, it can't come out unless it's on the inside. So you need to put yourself in positions and surround yourself with people that are playing life at a higher level than you, so that what comes out is the stuff like certainty, confidence, conviction, self-belief. It cannot come out unless it's on the inside. Are you guys picking up what I'm putting down? Type yes in the chat. All right, this is a high-level room, JP. You've put together a really high-level room. I love this.
100%. Hey, absolute pleasure, Anthony. Thank you so much, man. Really appreciate it. I think there's a lot of things that you guys can take away from Anthony. Like I looked up to him my whole career at seventh level, and see you here live with me is a real moment. So thank you so much for jumping on. And there's a lot of things you guys can take away just from Anthony today. So yeah, thank you.
And I just want to say, like, how amazing you are, JP. From coming in, I remember that interview, couple of months sales experience, and I could just tell, man, how hungry you were, and seeing where you're at now. Like, I'm very proud of you, man. I just want to say
Thank
I'm
you.
super proud of you because I know it wasn't easy, but I know that the only reason you were here because you upheld what you said you were going to do. You said, I'm going to commit, I'm going to get after it, I'm going to put in the work, and you did that.
Yeah.
And yeah, I just want to say, everybody, you're very, very lucky to be on this call with someone like JP that's willing to share how he did it, so you can help some of you do the same.
Yeah. Thank you so much, Anthony, brother. Appreciate you.
Okay.
Thank
Bye,
you.
everybody.
There we go. We had Anthony Bazzari himself. That was great. Guys, did you like that? Everyone in the chat type yes if that was like amazing. I thought that was absolutely amazing from Anthony. Okay, good stuff. Now, there's a couple of things I want to show you guys before we move on. I want to actually do some role plays. I'm going to bring on some people here on stage to role play with me. And I'm going to ask you guys, what I need you guys to have, though, is an actual working camera and a working microphone. Can you guys promise me that you will have that if I bring you up to role play? Type yes in the chat so I know who to actually bring up here. Okay, so we have some people with a working camera. That's good to hear. All right, good stuff. So I want to share one last thing because I'm not sure how many of you guys have done it yet. How many of you guys have actually booked your espresso call? Just comment me in the chat if you have already. Okay, it's a lot of you guys. I know, and I want to call it out because I know some of you guys didn't book the call because there's a little bit of uncertainty. That tightness in your stomach, right? That you're feeling. But isn't it funny how you're a salesperson who asks people to do this every single day, and you fear about booking a sales call to change you and your family's life? And the thing is that you're putting yourself in an uncomfortable place. And I understand that, in a place of uncomfort. But as I mentioned earlier, where do people grow? Do they grow from a place of comfort or do they grow from a place of uncomfort? Where do they grow, guys? And if you truly want to master the skills, there's one thing you need to understand. That the fear that you're feeling, as Anthony said, best than anybody, you either let it overcome you or you let that be the thing that pushes you. So decide which person you're going to be. Are you going to be the person who lets that fear overcome you, or are you going to let the person or let that fear actually push you to get to where you need to be? And if you're actually like done with your current situation, you actually want to get to the next level, guys. Like, book this call. What do you have to lose? We're going to show you some training options, and you guys are scared. We're going to show you some training options that make you help you sell more so you can make more money. Like Kobe, Luke, Daniel, and all these people did. Are you guys scared to sell more? This is the thing. It's the thing that you ask your prospects to do every single day. So it's your decision. Okay, I just want to say that last thing. But Paul, make sure you put the link in the chat. Before we do that, I want to get into some role plays now. So let's get into it. I'm going to pick some people out. So if you guys are actually available to role play, just say me in the chat, okay? So I can make sure I'm picking the right people. I'm going to pick people at random, okay? Oh, we got a lot of people here trying to role play. Okay, let's see. Oh my God, it's going to be so hard to pick someone when it's moving so fast. Oh my God. Okay, you guys can slow down. Give me one sec. We're going to pick. All right, I'm gonna have to pick someone here. Give me one second. Where is it here? Alex, I seen you, so I'm gonna promote you to panelist. You're coming up, okay? Alex, you should be coming up here in just a second. You have to accept it if you are gonna come up, and you have to make sure you have a working camera.
Yep. Can you hear me?
Okay, give me 1 second so I can spotlight you, brother. Give me 1 second. Dun, dun, dun. Okay. All right, good to see you. Have a working camera, everything?
Yeah.
Okay, we're good to go. There you go. Give me 1 second. I just need to make sure I can spotlight you so everybody can see you too. It's not working right now. Okay. Can everybody see Alex? Just type yes in the chat if everybody can see Alex. Okay, cool. Alex, do you want to introduce yourself? What do you sell?
Sure. So I sell stock trading mentorship for people who want to get out of their 9 to 5
Okay, cool. How long have you been doing that for?
for the last couple weeks.
Oh, a couple of weeks. So you're brand new to high
Yeah.
ticket sales?
Oh yeah.
Hey, well, everyone say, well done to Alex, because it takes a lot of balls to be like a couple of weeks into high ticket sales and be up here role playing in front of like hundreds of people. So well done. Okay, Alex, I'm going to give you an objection because I know we've been training a lot of objections today. I'm going to give you an objection. I want you to just overcome it with the best. So whatever comes to mind, okay?
Okay.
So I'm not going to tell you the objection. All right. Alex, I need to think about it.
Yeah, JP, that's not a problem. Just to see if I could best help. What is it that you're wanting me to go over in your mind? Just to see if I could send any like relevant information.
Oh, I just want to sleep on it, make sure it's the right decision for me.
Okay. Yeah, I guess what do you mean? I guess is that like money aside, like would you do this?
No. Yeah, I just want to sleep on it, right? I want to like make sure it's good, all that stuff.
Yeah, yeah, I see. And is there anything you want to go over, like sleep on, just to see if I could best help?
Um, like really, I just want to go over like the programs, like compare everything, like make sure the price is right, like make sure everything kind of lines up, and then I'll
Oh,
obviously make a decision upon that. Yeah, I'll get back to you next week. Don't worry, man.
yeah, yeah. And when you say like just make sure the price is right, is it like more about the money problem?
Um, you could say that. Like it's not a money problem. Like I have
Yeah.
the money, right? I have the money. It's just like I just gotta see if this is the best decision for my life right now. There's a lot of expenses, a lot of things I gotta look
Yeah.
over.
Yeah, yeah. Well, money aside though, like would you do it?
Oh yeah, you've already asked that question.
Oh yeah.
Okay, pause. Good job, man. Good job. I was being tough on you, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, cool, man. So this is a couple of the tips I would give you. So like,
Hmm.
when I first told you, I need to think about it, right? Like, you said, okay, what do you need to think about, which was great, and then you said you need to sleep on it, right?
Yeah.
I always like to make a joke when someone says they want to sleep. I'm like, well, it's not a couch, so you can't sleep on it, unfortunately. But I guess like money out of the equation. Do you feel like what we do can help you with getting to where you need to be? You'll be like, yeah. So
Yeah.
it's not a case you need to go like think about it. It's more just about the money then, right? Yeah. Okay, cool. Right.
Mm.
So they're
Hmm.
like, okay, they admit it's not the real objection. Now we can start handling the fear. The issue is that you just try to go like money aside and you didn't actually like get rid of the other objection. Because you didn't get rid of it, I would always go back to it. Does everyone see how the
Oh
process you keep
yeah.
going back to the objection if you don't get rid of it? But if you get rid of it, you can go back to it. You see that?
Yes, yeah, I see that, yeah.
Okay. Good job, man. Hey, everybody
Yeah.
said well done to Alex. That was an amazing job, man. Well done. Like a couple weeks selling, crazy. Good stuff, man.
Yeah,
Okay.
thank you.
Of course, man. Of course. All right. Let me attendee. Cool. So we are going to pick up somebody else to role play here. We got a lot of people. Why don't you guys raise your hands? It's gonna be easier for me to guys. If you raise your hand on Zoom, I can pick you guys a lot easier. Um, we're gonna go with. We're gonna go with. We're gonna go with Umar. I feel like I see your name a lot on Instagram and stuff like that. So I'm gonna put you up here. Okay, let me know when you have your camera and everything on, ready to go. I'm gonna spotlight you as soon as you have your camera and everything on. You can hear me, see me okay? Everything's good?
Yeah, awesome,
Okay,
awesome, man.
amazing.
Good to see you, JP, first of all.
Good to see you, man. 100%. Hey, everybody say well done to Umar. A lot of balls getting up here and talking and role playing in front of everybody. Okay, so
Thank
I'm
you so
gonna
much. Thank you so much.
Of course, man. I'm gonna spotlight you. You should be spotlighted now. Let's see.
Okay,
Yes.
just a second.
Cool. Okay. Can everybody see Umar like pretty big now? Is that okay? Let me have a look. Spotlight for everybody. And yes. Cool. So you should be spotlighted now. And then I should make sure to spotlight.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry, I'm not the absolute best at tech, as you guys may know. Cool. All right, we're in. So now we're gonna do a role play again. Objections. We're gonna go back to objections, my favorite part. So, Umar, look, this all sounds great. I just have to speak to my partner.
No worries at all, man. I mean, what happens if you go to her and she's like, no, no, I mean, it's tough, you know?
But she won't, right? Like she's my partner, so I know what she will do, you know?
Yeah, man. I mean, but at the end of the day, like, just so I can understand, like, whose responsibility is it to you to get to your goals, man?
Well, it's definitely mine, right? 100%.
Yeah, so man, would it be fair to her that putting your responsibility on her?
Well, I'm not putting that responsibility on there. Like I'm just gonna talk to her about it, you know, because like we have a like again, like it's just a respect thing with her. It's like I want to give her the respect.
Yeah, I understood, JP. I understand that. But I mean, again, when you're talking to her, you're speaking about that, you're putting that strain of decision to her, okay? And she has a different perspective. You have a different perspective, right?
Sure. Yeah,
Yeah.
well,
So
yeah,
as I'm, yeah,
definitely. Yeah. No, I can see where you're coming from.
mm, yeah. So I mean, money aside, would you do it though?
Yeah, I would. Yeah.
Yeah. So man, I mean, at the end of the day, like, is it about uh, that you're a bit concerned about like the money itself, or is it about more like you're a bit unsure that it will work or not?
Okay, good. Let me pause you there. Everyone, round of applause for Umar.
Yeah.
That was really good, man. Good stuff. I really like it. Okay.
Thank you. Thank
So
you.
I'm gonna allow you to self-analyze. What do you feel like you could have done better?
I believe that I could have went into the money first instead of
Yeah.
the partner ones.
Okay.
Yeah. And when I could just went into that, I could go deeper into that and would have said that if you could not fail 100%, would you do it? If there
Yeah,
was 100% guarantee of success, would you do it?
exactly right. So this is one thing that you did. Like
Mm. Mm.
what I really liked is the responsibility. You started to put the responsibility on her. What I thought
Mm.
was where you could have done better is when it got to the point where I said, no, no, no. Well, like I'm just gonna tell her. It's just like a respect thing. It's not that I need to do it. And then you still went back to like, oh, but you're putting that responsibility on her. We don't want to do that because again, he just told you that he's not
Mm.
putting the responsibility on her, and you're saying no, you are. So you guys are just fighting against each other at this point.
Mm.
So how do we
Mm.
shift it to make it a conversation? So I'd be like, okay, man, is that how you always do things? Like, yeah. But to get a different result in life, do we have to do things like the same way, or do we have to do things like different? Oh, we have to do things differently for sure. Yeah, right. So what I'm not asking you to do is make a decision based on where you are, the Umar who's making 5 grand a month. I'm asking you to make a decision on the Umar who's making 50 grand a month. Because would that Umar have to go speak to his partner, or would that Umar just commit and invest so he can get a better outcome for himself and his family? No, he would commit and invest. So what do you feel like you need to do? You see? That's if they stick to the partner objection. Now, obviously, the first step I would have done is money aside, would you do it? And then if we could have got rid of that very quickly. We don't know, right? But if it actually he feels like it is a partner objection, he would have went back to it. We'd have to do that. Okay.
Understood,
Okay.
JP. I really appreciate the insight.
Of course.
And man, we really, really admire you. I have a buddy of mine. We work together and we watch your videos a lot of the times. And we're like, the JP is the guy. He gets through everything. He does, he handles everything. And he's so confident. Like, I've seen role plays where people are literally shitting on you, like, because they're just testing you out there. Yeah.
Yeah.
That,
Yeah.
okay, you're selling a sales program, how good you are.
Yeah. Exactly right. Exactly right. Well, that's the thing. No, I really appreciate you, man. And like the thing is that I really want you to take away is that the conviction and certainty that I have, I didn't just get born with it. Like it's something that you learn because when you learn the skills at a high level, like the conviction certainty will just come with it, right? Like I gotta say, I don't know if I would have had the conviction certainty you have coming up here in front of like hundreds of people. So you got to respect yourself for that, man. That's a big step, man. And I wish you the absolute best of luck.
Really appreciate it. Thank you so much, JP. Thank you
Okay.
so much.
Amazing,
Stay
brother.
blessed.
Have a good one. Bye. So what we think about that, guys, is everybody learning from these little nuances that we're taking away. Everybody learning about that. This is really important that you guys understand the nuances of what we're doing when we're objection handling. You see how, like I said, oh, because that's how you always do things. That's how you always do things, right? And they're like, yeah, that's how I always do things. But to get a different result, you have to do things differently or the same way. You see, so I'm trapping them into my web so I can get them into the outcome-based thinking. Now, am I doing this to them? Or am I doing this for them? I'm doing this for them, right? Which is super important. Okay, so we got about 5 minutes left. I want to make sure, I think we have Paul, how many slots? I think we have like what, like 15, 20 bookings left? Something like that? Okay, so we have very small amount of bookings. So anyone who hasn't booked in, Paul, just put the link back in the chat. Make sure you book in. Again, this is one of the last opportunities. So we're allowing you guys to do this. First training we've ever done live where you guys can come and actually book in and speak to my team live. We give you a full call. We're going to assess your skills, recommend you an option. Okay. So now we're going for the last role plays. We got 5 minutes left, a 90-minute webinar. I'm going to pick one more person. Hands up, everybody. Who are we going to pick? I recognize his name. I'm going to promote you. Okay, cool. We got Shingun. I think that's how you say it. Shingun. Here we go. You should be able to talk and turn on your camera. Let me know when you're able to do that, and I will spotlight you as soon as you can turn on your camera.
You see me?
I can see you. Give me 1 second. Let me add spotlight.
Awesome, man.
And
Yeah. I didn't put my camera on because it's low on battery. Yeah.
okay, you're good. You're good. There we go. Cool. All right, amazing. Objections again, my favorite part. All right, let's get to it. Shingen, this sounds like, is that how you say your name? Shingen? Is that how you say it?
Yeah, 100%,
Okay.
man. You got it.
Look, this sounds amazing. Just like, why don't you send me an email and I can get back to you and like see if this is like the right thing for me.
Mm, yeah, can you start again? Like,
Why don't you like why don't you send me an email and then I decide if it's like the best thing for me. I'll just like compare you with a couple options.
okay, no worries, man. That's what most people ask for, actually, right? So, aside from email and some extra informations, just before you go, based on what we went over, do you feel like it could be the answer for you?
Yeah, it definitely could. Yeah.
Okay, but what made you say so, though?
Oh, you guys had cool like training programs. Like I like the course, the self-paced course is really good.
Okay, so when you say based on what we went over, if it's enough, what are you looking for when it comes to email?
Like I'm really looking for like just the information. I want to like there and like analyze it and then like kind of make a decision if it makes sense.
Okay, so can I share a different perspective on that?
Of course you can, yeah.
Yeah, man, because for you to make your final decision, right, you don't need like more information. Oh no, like I fucked up. Yeah,
Okay, it's
yeah,
fine. Don't worry. It's a good job. So
yeah,
at the
yeah,
very end, the issue you had is you were telling me, don't tell me, don't tell me. Because if you tell somebody something, whose belief system is it? It's yours. If I ask you a
yeah,
question
yeah,
and you say it out loud, whose belief system is it? It's the person who then answered the question and believes it is, right? So it's super important.
yeah.
So I would always say, is it fair to say that you're feeling a little bit of uncertainty? Is that fair to say? Like, oh yeah, it is. Okay,
Mm,
so now he's the one telling me he has uncertainty. So it's not my belief system, it's his belief system, right? That's really important. Now, another thing, when you said, oh, what makes you feel like this could be the answer for you? I like when you said, do you feel like this could be the answer for you? I really like that. When you went to the why,
mhm.
everyone tries to get like, oh, why do you feel like it can? A lot of people try to get like the features and benefits of the program. We don't want to do that. And the reason we don't want to do that is because think about it this way. We're asking them to step into a logistical mindset if they're talking about the features and benefits. What we want them to step into is the outcomes of what they're going to get at the program. Because are we selling the program or are we selling the outcomes they're going to get from the program? Are we selling the sales training or am I selling the you making 50 grand a month to change you and your family side? That's what I'm selling. So we need to always tie it back to their outcomes. Why do you feel like this can help you get to where you need to be for you personally? So we start talking about the emotional outcomes because humans make a decision not in a logical state, but in an emotional state. When you talk about the features and benefits, is that emotional or logical? Logical, right? Amazing.
Yeah,
Okay. Hey, brother.
yeah.
Absolute pleasure.
Thank you,
Good
man.
job.
Yeah,
Again, everybody say well done to Shingun. Absolute pleasure, man. Okay.
yeah. Peace
Have a
out.
good one.
Yeah.
Bye bye. Move spotlight, and then I'll pop you down to here. Okay, change role to attendee. Cool. All good. We still got a lot of people in here. This is a high level room. You guys stayed the whole way. You guys got to be proud of yourselves. I'm actually so happy to be around this room with like these high level people that we have around here. This is my, again, as you guys know, it's my first training I've ever done. I'm just super blessed to have you guys up here, partner with Jeremy, and then do these together with him, as well as having you guys here. I'm super grateful for everybody who stayed till the very end. Super, super happy for you guys. And yeah, again, make sure you don't miss out. Make sure you book your assessment call. I really want to see you guys on that one-on-one. Don't be scared of me, guys. I'm actually a nice person in the call. Don't worry, right? I may overcome your objections. That's all. But yeah, make sure you guys book the call so we can help you, train you, and get you to where you need to be. So apart from that, that has been it. Guys, thank you so much. The recording, yes, there will be a recording out on YouTube for everybody asking. I will send one out because I know you guys are banking for it. So I will send that out. And yeah, thank you guys.